Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm trying to make it a bit safer when I move Hettie around. See you in a minute. Right, now the garage is in its usual hell of a mess stage. It moves from one room to the other. If I tidy this up, the shed will be ruined. If I tidy the shed and this up, the workroom in the house will be ruined. I can't seem to get all of them sorted at once. Just a bit of an update progress wise. Hettie, the engine is now in pieces. I had to get a hand from my son to lift it because it's no longer, it must have got heavier because when I was younger I could lift it, and as the years have gone by I can't, so it must be getting heavier. I think we found what the problem is. It's the cam chain has broken, you can see there, which is sort of good news in that I thought it was the camshaft itself that had broken perhaps. So I'm just in the process of getting new bits for that, and once we've got those sorted, I need tensioner, that's broken and all packed up as well. Once all that's done, there's a load of other stuff that you do at the same time, because it's pointless when you've got it in pieces not to do water pump seals and one or two other things. So that's sort of slowly progressing. There is some movement on it. When I had, well, just before my wife went into hospital, we had the boiler serviced, and to do that I need to push Hettie outside, and that's the beauty of it being up on platforms with casters on. I can move it sideways quite easily. It'll just move around in the garage without any problem. However, it has to be said that the current arrangement is, well, sketchy is probably too good a word for it. It's a little bit loose and not very good. That's nothing to do with it, that's just there as a separate thing. So you can see it's sort of propped up on bits of old rotten wood, and you may think the obvious thing to do is just put the wheels on the caster platforms, which it would be, except the fact that the platform then sticks out sideways further than the wheels, and it completely defeats the object of having the thing on casters, because it's so wide it won't move anywhere. So I want to sort that out for my own health and safety. Apart from anything else, it is likely to fall off. It has already slipped off once or twice. It doesn't go very far because the wheels are only an inch off the ground, but sooner or later I'm going to be near something when I do it. So I think that's the job for today. We need to get this thing sorted so that it is safely on a platform that I can move it round on. The other problem I found when I put the wheels up on top of it was that when you moved it they just slid off. So I'm working, I think, on the basis that if I get something like that, which is a post roughly 4 inches square, which is the vast majority of the lift it's got on it at the moment, screw that across the rolling caster shoe things, and then build up above it with whatever is needed to hold this front member here, support it either side, and then it won't be going anywhere. I've got to do a little bit of measuring to get the height right, because if I lift the chassis up, the stub axle, the A-frame arms will drop, so it needs to be at that height that is at the moment, and support the ends with that as well. So we'll sort all that out as we go. I think first thing I think to do is to jack it up, take the old stuff out and have a look. I'm fairly certain that on this side one of the casters is packed up, because when I was moving things around there were a few odd ball bearings lying around on the floor. So I think I'm going to find one of those is died anyway, one of the casters on there. Right, so now we can start and make a job of this. You can see the sort of thing that this car was held up on. Bits of old wood with nails in it and rotten wood. That was probably the biggest worry, that some of the wood that I had on here is very, very rotten. So it's not really going to be the sensible option. Just clean this off a bit first and throw all this away, I think. As you can see, these were from Aldi. They only cost about £14, I think. And they've been very good, and really for the price that they were, I'd probably have struggled to buy the casters for that. That's the one that's been a problem. Oh no, it's not. I thought that's the one that had lost the rollers, but actually it's just coming undone in its insert. Or the inserts come loose, one or the other. Those are okay. That one is loose. Oh no, that'll tighten up. It just needs an Allen screw on it. So my fears of there being a problem with balls coming from somewhere are, I think, unfounded. They're probably from somewhere else by the look of it, which is sort of good news because it means I can just carry on without worrying too much. That's it. Well, that's one done. I'll do the other one and then we can start and measure and get this cross piece put on, and I'll leave the two handles at the front so I can actually pull and push it around by that. Now I've changed from the timber I'd got to an old newel post because there was a twist in that other post that I was getting, but I'm just getting some nails out the bottom. So a message to all in this about buying cheap tools. I had to get two of these out, and I don't know my own strength. That is the hammer I used first time round, and you can see it's fairly thin tube there, and even an old man like me can bend it, so I think we're on the hunt for a new hammer. Now, because I want this thing to be reasonably easily dismantleable, I don't want to do permanent fixings in any way, shape or form, so I've turned the trolleys upside down. I know how wide apart the outside edges have to be. I know how long the piece of timber I've got is taking one from the other because it's 120mm. The wood is 120mm shorter than the gap, if you like. So I've marked distance in from the edge, 60mm on either side, and I've then sorted out two holes which are 260mm apart, I think, which actually coincidentally roughly line in with the casters anyway. So what that means is either way round, either side, I can just bolt this rail 60mm from one end on either end anyway round, so that it gives me a bit of flexibility. And I'm just putting in some threaded inserts, drill a hole about, I don't know, 9.5mm, something like that, push these right in, and then that means I can drill holes at those centres and just pop a bolt with a big washer up through it, and that will just bolt in then from underneath the trolley, and so the whole thing should sit with that on top when I've finished. So we'll just get these done and we'll be ready to assemble it and see if it all works. Okay, that's the first bit done. What I need to do now is go and slip that in underneath the front, and I can see what bits I need to add on to give the necessary lift. Okay. So if I now lower the car down a couple of inches to where I want it to end up, given the heights of all the various points there in the middle on that centre bar where it's going to touch the ground, it comes down. So I need about 60mm there. And as these are 70, I'll probably stick at 70. And then in the middle, I need to come up 50mm plus 50. A couple of pieces of beech there that give me the 50mm for the centre rail. I'll cut a couple of bits of plywood then, I think, just to go either side, so that will stop the thing coming off forward or backwards. And I think there's enough depth in 45mm to clear the rail. I'll check that now. Right, I've put the blocks on to support the end of the axles. I've extended them backwards and put a block under to support them, so it gives a bit more support. That will be for reasons that will come up later on. But I think that's it now. We can go and assemble it and see if it all works. That's a much better engineered solution that seems to be doing the job much more safely. And the problem is, as usual with these things, it creates more work. Looks like the trolley jack is in for a rebuild because it's spewing fluid all over the floor. Right, well that's got Hettie a lot safer on a cradle that feels much more safe to move her about, and it means it's not likely to fall off on my toe or trap a finger or anything like that, which was where I was before. It does mean I've got to rebuild the trolley jack, I think, but that's been something that I've had in the back of my mind for a while, so perhaps in a week or two's time we'll have a go at that and refurbish it. Hope it was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be doing something different, I hope, and I'll see you then. Bye.